Star Trek takes place in space. Unlike previous stories, Star Trek 4 was filmed on location in San Francisco, where the crew parks their invisible ship in Golden Gate Park. This made San Francisco, for me as a kid, the Federation. So when I had an opportunity to try to move there myself in 1998, I was a little bit disappointed. I was not as Star Trek-y as Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, made it out to be. The alien craft comes in, making its whale noise. It's certainly not the San Francisco that we are seeing today. So the question is, why San Francisco over other cities? Simple answer is that Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry loved San Francisco. It had a special appeal to Roddenberry because of its Navy town history. Roddenberry fought in the Pacific Theater during World War II as a pilot and actually shipped out to war from California. The technology of Starfleet may seem futuristic, but a lot of the elements like the builder plaques and the boatswain whistle were grounded in real military symbols and technology. On top of that, the producers of Star Trek decided that San Francisco is a beautiful city with major recognizable landmarks. That's great for letting TV viewers or movie watchers know that it's taking place in a far-flung future on Earth. What really made San Francisco special was its progressivism and diversity. Roddenberry was a liberal humanist, and San Francisco, out of all the American cities in the 60s, best captured the issues that Roddenberry wanted to delve into with the show. Civil rights, the anti-war movement, were definitely things that Roddenberry felt particularly close to. San Francisco symbolized the kind of tensions and optimistic future that he wanted to depict in Star Trek. Different people, different aliens, in other words, coming together to build a life in San Francisco. Helmsman Hakuro Sulu was born in the city. The original Enterprise from the television show was canonically built at Mar Island Shipyard. In 2161, the Charter of the United Federations of Planets was signed in San Francisco, just like the Charter of the United Nations was signed there in 1945. Star Trek is often considered an example of a utopian society, but it's still just a TV show, and it needs conflict, and that conflict certainly does come sometimes from a encountering of people with different ways of life who can't or won't assimilate to the Federation's human-centric ideals. Starfleet, it aims to peacefully seek out new life and new civilizations, and yet a reoccurring storyline involves ignorant crew members meddling with unsuspecting peoples. That contradiction is apparent in San Francisco. You have poverty, you have riches, you have a tech hotbed, you have poop in the street. So the question is, why Starfleet is set in San Francisco? It's important for people to understand it's because that city represents a kind of progressivism for all its failures, and it encapsulates Star Trek. San Francisco is brutal to the homeless, brutal to the working poor. It's a racially divided city. Yet it is one of the richest cities on the planet, and that's what the Star Trek creator did. He rectified the metaphor.